Hello friends and welcome to bispsolutions.com. My name is Amit and today we are going to see an interesting analysis in Hyperion planning. We are going to write a formula to calculate return on invested capital. So this is part of building our financial cube which we started a couple of sessions before. So step by step we are going to build a complete cube. So I'll start talking about what is return on invested capital, a formal definition. I'll explain you the business requirement and then step by step we build formula and test the output. So first let's understand what is return on invested capital. As the name indicate, it is also called ROCI in short. It's a profitability ratio which tells your organization, which tells you maybe as a stakeholder how profitable your organization is. So it's a measures the return that an investment generates for those who have provided capital to this. Maybe as a stakeholder, I invest $100,000 to some company, and I would like to know how I'm going to have a return as a result of my $100,000 as investment. So ROCA tells how good a company is at turning capital into profit, and therefore we use this formula. So as a result of investing $100,000, how it is going to render or generate profit for me. So maybe I've got four companies, I've got four choices, A, B, C, D company, and I would like to find out which company I should invest my money so that it is more profitable to me. So the formula apply to this: net operating profit after tax divided by total invested capital. The simple formula. Let's get it little more detail. So as you understand, this is one of the important key measure which investor like to know before investing money, and it's a top level of measure for historical and current performance. Maybe you also like to see the historical trend. What is the ROCA for last 3 years, and based on this historical trend I like to invest money. So not only for current performance, you can also look at the historical performance of a corporation across capital, all the capital it has invested in the business. So it could be multiple capitals. So the capital come from, naturally the capital come from stakeholders, creditor, or who supply loan, or shared owned by the management. So that's one of the best way to evaluate the organization performance. Maybe as an investor I like to have answer of these two questions. Basic question: what kind of return can I expect, conservatively expect, and how long does it take? Can I get those return? So in order to get these two base answer of this basic question, ROIC is required. Okay. Now let's see the formula of it. And so the formula I used over here, I let me explain you. Um, Basically, we are subtracting net income minus common stock divided by fixed asset. Okay. So we are calculating for monthly, quarterly, and yearly. This is my hierarchy: year, quarter, and month. So I use is level function to calculate whether the level is month, quarter, or year. If month is 0, I'll calculate total net income divided by 30 for individual day, multiply by 360. So if my net income is, let's say, 300, I divide by 30, it will calculate for one day, which is 30, which is 10, and multiply by 360. So this way I get for 1 year, and then I subtract by common stock, divide by total fixed asset. This is I'm going to calculate for monthly. If you calculate for quarterly, you do the same thing, but rather than divide by 30, you divide by 90. One quarter means 90 days. Okay, this is what we assume. Um, Minus common stock divide by total fixed asset. The same thing we do for year as well. For year, we don't divide by 90. We'll take the year net income for the entire year. Okay. So this is the formula I'm going to apply into my calculation. I also like to show the business requirement before we proceed further. The way I get the requirement from the client in this way, most of the time the requirements not so clear, therefore we work with functional team and ask them to prepare an excel sheet for us, which is simple calculation. Okay, so you see this is an excel sheet we prepared, account return output, and then I have input sheet. So in input sheet we'll give a blessed data or sample data. Based on this sample data, my various calculation will take place, including return on my invested capital, adjusted return on my invested capital, and so on. The formula is fairly simple over here. If you see, return on invested capital, it's equals to your um, operating income multiply by your interest rate, tax rate used. Tax rate used is 31.01. So 1 minus 31.01, it means 68. It will calculate 68 point some value, isn't it? So, and then divide by B16 invested capital, right? So I need to basically the requirement I got in Excel sheet, which I in turn return to my planning formula, right? This is the origination of your requirement. Now let me show you the outline structure of your application. I'll show the outline structure in my in as space. So we have a typical the standard accounting hierarchy. We have a statistical account, all accounts where we have income statement, all accounts we have balance sheet, net income. Under balance sheet we have got asset, liabilities, owner equity, and so on, right? And then we have net income, and then we have a ratios. So I created a member over here, return on investment capital, invested capital. Similarly there are various ratios, so I create a separate hierarchy which in turn has got all the children which talk about different kind of ratios, and the parent category fall under profit performance ratio. Okay. So return on invested capital, return on sales, gross margin percentage, and all are going to be calculated under um, profit percent performance ratio, isn't it? So what I did exactly, I put this formula inside my outline itself. When you go to dimension and look at your um, account structure, under your ratios, profit performance ratio, return on invested capital, and when you click on edit on under formula itself, it takes some time to render. So let me open it again. I added this. Yeah, sometime it takes some, it takes little time to render this. So well, I'll take some pause, and after a few seconds it'll render. Right, I got a member formula. Right, this is the member formula, the one I shown you. Just copy and paste over here. So net income divided by 13 to 60 minus common stock divided by total fixed asset. For monthly divide by 30, for quarterly divide by 90, for yearly we don't divide it, we calculate for entire year. Okay, you can validate the formula. Before writing the formula I validate this. So in order to ensure that we don't have any syntactical error, you can validate this. Okay. So once the formula get validated, we are going to test this output. Okay. So every time you test this output, you can use a smart view or you can create a data form. So in data form, you will maybe be making an input to input values and then the formula getting calculated. So in order to calculate this, let's identify what are the user inputs. So user inputs are where you're going to input numbers. User inputs are your net income, maybe which is consolidated, which may be aggregated value from all the children of net income, or it may be user input. In our case, net income is a parent member, and then we have 3100, which is uh, one input is net income. Let me put a number over here. Second is your common stock, and third member would be, which is numbered over here as fixed asset, right? So this is a number, GL number we have given. Net income under your all account, and then we have total fixed asset, and then we have a common stock which should be under liabilities. Common stock, the liability. This is my account entity structure, account dimension structure. Okay. Now let's calculate this. I'm going to put some sample data. So I already prepared one Excel sheet. Okay. This Excel sheet actually I prepared one data form. Okay. And in this data form, I'm going to put numbers, some sample numbers, and we'll render the output, return on income capital. So let me show you data form, which is typically the way you prepare standard data form, the same way I prepared. So I'm going to show you one data form which I use, because ultimately where you're going to test the output, either you can use ad hoc grid or you can create data form. Okay. So this is my data form, test return on income invested capital. So it's a standard. I just want to show you the layout structure. I have chosen no product, and you need to define all dimension member intersection. This is my no product, and forecast is my scenario, and I'm going to use all the children of um, my net income and all. Okay, so for the sake of testing, I have created couple of members where I can modify them based on user input, and once I ensure the formula works, I may be using a real outline structure. So that's a one simple practice you can follow. You can create some temporary member, ensure your calculation is correct, and then you can use apply the same formula to your actual dimension outline structure. Okay, so I use net income, common stock, fixed asset, and return on income capital, and those member I use into my data form. Okay. Rest all the structures same. I'm going to calculate for quarterly and monthly. Okay, for the current year. So let's put some sample data and calculate the output. Right. So you can simply connect your smart view open data form. Typically the way we do it, I'm going to show it once again. Connect your smart view, open your planning application, and then open your application financial application. This is my data form named as test return on invested capital open form. Okay, so well, I'm going to make 00. I'm going to calculate for 1 month first. In the beginning I make it 00. I'm going to calculate once again for the sake of testing. Okay, I made it everything 00 and then submit these numbers. Right, so return on income capital is going to be calculated. Right, so let's focus on these two member. I'm going to underline them with yellow color so that we can easily recognize how it is going to be calculated. So I'll write 100 is my net income, my common stock is 20, and my fixed asset is 500. I took the simple number so that calculate turns out to be easy. So as per our formula, um, your net income divided by 30. So net income divided by 30 into 360 minus common stock. Minus common stock is 20 and divide by fixed asset. So I should get this output. Let me put the parenthesis and enforce the order. I should get 2.36. This is expected output, right? So I put the number, then I'm going to submit these numbers, submit data, and look at this. This is the exactly what you're expecting, the same output you get. Okay. So what else you can do it? This is one way of do a unit testing, but uh, it may be even more complicated. So most often what we do, we test our output with the output which provided by the business. This is called blessed data or reconciliation sheet. I'll put the same number into my Excel sheet and I compare the output which I received and the output rendered by Excel sheet. That's a best way to evaluate the numbers and test the output. So that's it for today. In next example, I'm going to show you how to use different ratio analytics in Hyperion planning. I'm also going to show you how to visualize all different ratio analytics, ROA, ROI, and different quick ratios. And we are going to prepare one summary report for the investors. So by looking at one glance, the investor would be knowing that whether the investing money into the respective company making sense to them or not. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching today's video. Should you have any question, please write to us. Our site is bspsolutions.com.